A British millionaire, Alan Hogg, and his Thai wife, Nod Suddaen, lived a life that many could only dream of. Their sprawling villa in the quiet province of Phrae, Thailand, stood as a symbol of their success, a testament to years of hard work and an idyllic retreat from the chaos of the world. But dreams can shatter in the blink of an eye. On a warm September morning in 2018, the peace of this serene home was forever disrupted. Somewhere on their expansive property, beneath the unassuming soil of a duck pen, lay a secret so chilling it would captivate a nation. This was no ordinary disappearance, no simple tragedy. The truth behind their fate was tangled in greed, betrayal, and unimaginable choices. Alan and Nod didn't vanish into thin air. Their lives ended violently, their final moments buried as deeply as their bodies. 2 meters underground, hidden beneath the very land they cherished, their story began to unfold not with their lives, but with their deaths. The discovery wasn't immediate. Days passed, questions grew louder, and their loved ones grew more desperate. Their home, once filled with laughter, now stood silent, a stark reminder that appearances can deceive even the most perceptive eyes. What could lead to such a horrifying outcome? What forces were at play that turned a peaceful property into a crime scene? And most importantly, who could have orchestrated such a merciless act? This was no random crime. The truth was far more calculated, far more intimate. Someone knew this couple well enough to know the land, the patterns of their lives, and the perfect place to hide them. Someone had made a decision to erase them, to make them disappear not just from their home, but from existence itself. Today we unraveled the chilling details of their story, a tale of wealth and resentment, family and betrayal. Stay with us as we uncover what truly happened to Alan Hogg and Nod Suddaen, and why their lives ended in the shadows of the very place they called home. Alan Hogg and his wife Nod Suddaen were the picture of a life well lived. Their home, a striking villa nestled amidst the lush greenery of Phrae, Thailand, was a vision of success and tranquility. Built with meticulous attention to detail, the property was more than a house, it was their refuge, their reward for years of hard work and dedication. It had everything one could dream of: a serene swimming pool glistening under the Thai sun, vibrant gardens teeming with life, and farmland stretching as far as the eye could see. This was where they had chosen to settle, away from the noise of the world, surrounded by the beauty of nature. Alan, a British expatriate, had found his peace here. Known for his affable demeanor and quiet generosity, he had retired to this corner of the world after a lifetime of achievements. Nod, his wife, was a local woman with deep ties to the community. Together, they made a life that seamlessly blended their two worlds. Their relationship, spanning more than a decade, was marked by the love they shared for their home, their land, and the simple joys of life in the countryside. To their friends and neighbors, Alan and Nod seemed like the embodiment of happiness. They hosted gatherings, shared laughter, and cultivated a peaceful existence. It was the kind of life that inspired admiration and, as it would turn out, envy. Yet no one could have foreseen the events that would transform their idyllic home into the center of a chilling tragedy. In September 2018, something unusual began to happen. The couple, usually so warm and engaging, seemed to vanish. At first, it was subtle missed calls, unanswered messages, and a strange silence that hung over their property. But as days passed, concern turned into alarm. Close friends, growing increasingly uneasy, visited their home, only to find it eerily empty. The villa, once alive with the sounds of their daily lives, now felt cold and abandoned. Their car, a white pickup truck, was also missing. Something was clearly wrong. The authorities were soon alerted, and what started as a missing persons case quickly escalated. Investigators arrived at the property, combing through every inch of the sprawling land. But there were no signs of struggle, no evidence to explain where Alan and Nod had gone. It was as if they had simply vanished, leaving behind only questions. The community was gripped by fear and speculation. Theories began to circulate. Had they fallen victim to a random act of violence? Were they targeted for their wealth? Or was there something else, something even more unthinkable? As the days stretched on, the mystery deepened, and the once peaceful property became the focal point of a growing investigation. But what no one realized at the time was that the answers they were searching for lay closer than anyone could have imagined. The serene facade of Alan and Nod's life concealed a story of resentment, betrayal, and greed, a story that would only come to light in the most horrifying of ways. Beneath the soil of their own land, buried 2 meters deep in an unassuming duck pen, lay the chilling truth of their fate. What could have led to such an unthinkable act? What chain of events turned this sanctuary into a crime scene? And who could have carried out such a calculated and heartless crime? The answers would soon emerge, piece by piece, unraveling a story that would leave everyone who heard it questioning how well they truly knew those closest to them. This is the story of Hogg and Nod Suddaen, a story of love and betrayal, peace and violence, and the devastating consequences of unchecked greed. It is a tale that reminds us that appearances can be deceiving, and that the darkest secrets often lie just beneath the surface. Alan Hogg's journey to Thailand began in Edinburgh, Scotland. A man who had worked tirelessly throughout his life. Alan was the epitome of success. When he retired, he sought peace far from the gray skies of his homeland, and he found it in the vibrant landscapes of Phrae, Thailand. There, he built a sprawling villa, an architectural marvel surrounded by lush greenery. It wasn't just a home, it was a dream brought to life. The property featured a serene swimming pool, expansive farmland, and a duck pen that bustled with activity, adding a touch of simplicity to their luxurious surroundings. Nod Suddaen, Alan's wife, was a woman deeply connected to her Thai roots. She brought warmth and local traditions into their home, creating a balance that made their life together all the more fulfilling. Their relationship spanned over a decade, blending Alan's Western pragmatism with Nod's Thai sensibilities. Together, they were seen as a couple who had it all: wealth, love, and tranquility. But success and happiness, as they often do, attracted unwanted attention. The couple's affluence and their sprawling estate didn't just inspire admiration, it also bred envy. Whispers of jealousy rippled through their social circles, though nothing seemed amiss at the time. Alan and Nod continued their lives, unaware of the darkness that would soon engulf them. On a quiet September morning in 2018, everything changed. Their once peaceful property became a crime scene. The alarm was raised when close friends, unable to contact the couple, arrived at the villa. What they found was unsettling, an eerily silent home, devoid of its usual vibrancy. The couple was nowhere to be found, and their white pickup truck, a staple of their daily routine, was missing. The scene was unnerving, but it gave no immediate clues to their fate. Days later, the truth began to surface, quite literally. On a remote corner of their land, near the unassuming duck pen, investigators made a chilling discovery. Buried 2 meters beneath the soil were the lifeless bodies of Alan Hogg and Nod Suddaen. The serenity of their home was shattered forever, replaced by the grim reality of what had taken place. The crime scene told a story of violence and desperation. Alan's body bore the marks of a single gunshot wound, his final moments likely quick and brutal. Nod's death, however, was far more personal, a bludgeoning that spoke of rage and intent. Their bodies had been meticulously buried, hidden beneath the same soil they had once tended with care. The discovery sent shockwaves through the community and left everyone grappling with the question, who could have committed such a heinous act? As investigators dug deeper, both figuratively and literally, more pieces of the puzzle began to emerge. Tech footage from the property provided a critical lead. The grainy, time-stamped video revealed a figure moving through the couple's home, someone familiar enough to navigate their lives with unsettling ease. Their truck, caught on camera, was being driven away not by Alan nor Nod, but by someone else entirely. Suspicion quickly fell on a close family member, turning what was already a chilling case into something even more unsettling. The investigation into Alan Hogg and Nod Suddaen's murders began with the faintest of leads: their missing white pickup truck. It was more than a vehicle, it was a crucial piece of evidence, a potential trail leading to the answers everyone was desperate to uncover. As police scoured the region, they stumbled upon a revelation that would change the course of the case. The truck was found abandoned but intact, its presence raising more questions than answers. But the real breakthrough came when investigators reviewed SEC footage from the couple's property. The grainy footage revealed a chilling clue. A figure was seen entering the villa and later driving the missing truck away. It wasn't a stranger. The person was none other than Nod's brother, Warwick Sachakit. His familiarity with the property and his movements in the video were impossible to ignore. With this damning evidence in hand, the police moved quickly, arresting Warwick for theft. But what they uncovered during questioning would send shockwaves through the quiet town of Phrae and beyond. Warwick's connection to the crime wasn't coincidental. Beneath the surface of the family's seemingly harmonious life lay years of tension and unresolved conflict. At the heart of the feud were issues of money and land. Warwick, resentful over financial disputes and feeling slighted by Alan's refusal to provide monetary support, harbored a bitterness that had festered for years. That resentment, investigators would learn, had grown into something far more dangerous. But Warwick didn't act alone. As the investigation unfolded, it became clear that this was no crime of passion. This was a calculated plan, one that involved more than just a moment of anger. Police uncovered a network of accomplices of 3 hired men who had been paid to carry out the murders. Warwick, driven by greed and desperation, had orchestrated a plan to eliminate his sister and her husband, offering the hired killers a mere 50,000 baht, roughly $1,500 for their part in the crime. The method was cold and methodical. Alan was shot in front of the duck pen, a location chosen deliberately for its isolation and ease of concealment. Nod's death was even more brutal. She was bludgeoned to death near the garage, a violent act that left investigators reeling. Together, the perpetrators used heavy equipment to dig a 2-meter grave, carefully burying the bodies in an attempt to hide their crime. The revelation of Warwick's involvement and his calculated planning left the community in shock. How could someone betray their own family so thoroughly, so callously? What drove Warwick to take such extreme measures? Was it sheer desperation, or was there something deeper, more insidious at play? This was no ordinary case. It was a story of fractured relationships, unchecked greed, and the lengths to which people will go when consumed by envy and anger. The answers seemed clear, yet the questions lingered, haunting everyone who followed the case. Could this have been prevented? Could someone have stopped Warwick before it was too late? As the investigation continued, the puzzle pieces began to fit together. But the story was far from over. What remained were the consequences, the legal battles, the fractured family ties, and the lasting scars left on a once peaceful community. This was no longer just an investigation. It was the unearthing of truths that no one wanted to face. The investigation reached its breaking point when Warwick Sachakit, under the weight of mounting evidence, confessed to his role in the murders. The confession was as disturbing as it was revealing. Warwick admitted to hiring 3 men to carry out the heinous act. Their reward, a mere 50,000 baht, around $1,500. For that paltry sum, lives were brutally taken, and a family was torn apart forever. The gruesome details of the murders painted a picture of cold, calculated violence. Alan Hogg, the first victim, was ambushed near the duck pen, a place he frequented daily. With one gunshot, his life was taken in an instant. The scene was quiet, the act swift and deliberate. Nod Suddaen's death, however, was even more brutal. She was attacked in the garage, bludgeoned to death with a hammer. The violence of her death spoke of rage, yet the methodical execution suggested something far more sinister. But the horror didn't end with their deaths. What came next showed the chilling precision of the killer's plan. Using a backhoe, the group dug a grave 2 meters deep beside a creek on the couple's property. The bodies were buried with painstaking care, the soil carefully replaced to erase any sign of disturbance. It was a calculated attempt to conceal their crime, to ensure that Alan and Nod simply disappeared without a trace. For days, their grim secret lay hidden beneath the surface. The unassuming duck pen, a place once alive with simple farm activities, now became a macabre burial ground. The precision of the burial left investigators stunned. This was no impulsive act. Every detail, from the location to the depth of the grave, had been planned in advance. The murderers had not only taken 2 lives but had also tried to erase their existence entirely. The motive, as chilling as the crime itself, was rooted in greed and resentment. Worut, angry over being denied financial assistance and feeling sidelined in family matters, had orchestrated the murders with chilling detachment. The betrayal was unfathomable, a brother turning on his own sister, a family torn apart by envy and rage. But the true twist came with the realization of just how personal these murders were. This wasn't a random act of violence or a spur-of-the-moment decision. It was a deliberate plan crafted by someone who knew the couple's routines, their vulnerabilities, and the layout of their property. Worut's knowledge of their lives, their trust in him, made his betrayal all the more horrifying. As the confession unfolded, the full scope of the crime became clear. This wasn't just a story of murder, it was a story of calculated destruction, a tale of how greed and resentment can drive someone to the unthinkable. The haunting precision of the crime left a lasting impression, not just on the investigators but on everyone who followed the case. The question that lingered was simple yet profound. How could someone plan something so cold, so calculated, against their own family? The answer lay buried with Alan and Nod, hidden in the choices that led to this unspeakable tragedy. And while justice would soon be served, the scars left behind would never fully heal. The arrests of Worut Sachakit and his 3 accomplices marked the beginning of a long path toward justice. With Worut's confession and overwhelming evidence linking the hired killers to the crime, the case moved swiftly through the judicial system. By 2019, the courts had delivered their verdict. Worut, the mastermind behind the murders, was sentenced to death, a punishment reflective of the calculated and brutal nature of his crimes. His accomplices, the 3 men he had paid to carry out the murders, received lengthy prison sentences, ensuring they would spend decades behind bars. The courtroom proceedings brought a sense of closure for many, but the justice served could not undo the pain and devastation left in the wake of the crime. Alan Hogg and Nod Suddaen's lives were extinguished in an act of pure betrayal, and the loss was felt not only by their immediate loved ones but by the entire community of Phrae. This was a town unaccustomed to such violence, a place where neighbors were like family, and where trust was a way of life. That trust had been shattered. For those who followed the case, the details were as shocking as they were heartbreaking. A brother's greed, a meticulously planned betrayal, and the violent end of 2 lives. It was a combination that exposed the darkest sides of human nature. The villa that Alan and Nod had lovingly built was now marked forever, its serenity replaced by memories of tragedy. This case also sparked broader conversations about familial greed and the lengths some will go to for wealth and power. It served as a grim reminder of how jealousy, left unchecked, can fester and lead to unthinkable actions. Communities across Thailand reflected on the warning signs, wondering how such a tragedy could happen and whether anything could have been done to prevent it. Could this tragedy have been avoided? Was Worut's resentment something that could have been addressed before it spiraled out of control? Or was this outcome inevitable, the result of years of tension building beneath the surface? These are questions that linger, unanswered, haunting the memories of those connected to the case. As the years pass, Alan and Nod's story remains a chilling reminder of the fragility of human relationships and the devastating consequences of unchecked emotions. The villa, though now silent, stands as a testament to their lives, a stark reminder of a dream turned nightmare. Justice may have been served, but the scars on the community, on their loved ones, and on those who followed this tragic story will never fully fade. What do you think? Could this have been prevented, or were Alan and Nod caught in an unstoppable chain of events? Share your thoughts and let us remember the victims as more than just a headline, as people who deserve so much more. What do you think about this shocking case? Could anything have been done to stop it, or was it destined to happen? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments below. And if stories like this captivate you, don't miss out on our future episodes. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to join us for more gripping true crime stories that uncover the darkest corners of the human experience. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next chapter of our journey.